What was the toughest for you? What do you think, Nick?
It wasn't very tough. I mean, it was a pretty nice experience for me. I don't really think it was like tough at all.
Really?
I mean, of course it was a little bit, but
I mean, we did get into fights over things, but ultimately it forced us to make the film better. I mean, we'd get into issues, and I would see, he would. The whole process for me, I can just speak for myself. It did make me understand him a lot more, and I think it made me a better father. Hopefully, it did. I don't know, but I think that, and you'll see it in the film. What happens is, your kid. If your kid is going through rough times, the parent is, your main job is to keep your child safe. So I would do anything. I felt at a loss, so I would do anything that, as we say in the film, anybody with a desk and a diploma, I would listen to them, and the whole idea of tough love and you have to be a certain way, and it's not my nature. It's not the way I am built, but I went and did that, and I think that, at the end of the day, I know my child better than an expert does, and I probably should have trusted my own instinct, and that's one of the things I did learn about the whole experience.
I think the bonding came not from the story itself, but from the fact that we were working on a movie together, and I could see him in I would think, in the form that he could express himself the best, which is making movies, because he has so much experience. And so seeing that sort of turned me around to be like, okay, I should probably...
No, sorry, I'm responding.
I should probably shut up and listen to him, because he knows a lot more about this. He knows I don't know anything, so I'll learn whatever he has to teach me.
I just think that's such a fascinating thing to say, that like your father, who you would always want to be at his best as your father, may be a type of person who's at his best when he's making movies, and that makes him more understandable or relatable as a father to you, which is so fascinating to me.
Yeah, it really clicked for me, because we didn't bond a lot as a kid. Like, he really liked baseball, I liked basketball, and he could watch that with my brother, but baseball. But I just, when I saw him do that, and it was something that I'm interested in, I was like, wow, like, he really knows a lot, and like, it made me feel closer to him and be like, yeah.
You're like, wow, my dad's Rob Reiner.
I never had thought about it, and then...
Yeah, it didn't cross your mind, right?
Never.
No.
Never watched A Few Good Men. Didn't see that one.
No. But it's interesting that Nick would talk about it in that way, because, we did share that experience, but, even though I've had a lot of experience making movies, and I said this to him many, many times, that he was the heart and soul of the film. So when it came to making the film deeper and better, I would have to really defer to him. I mean, even though I have had all this experience in making films, the core of this film, I really had to look to him. I relied on him for giving it the honesty and the truth that it has.
Did you work with him on set? Were you on set for the majority of the shooting?
Mm-hmm. I was on set with him. Yeah.
No, sorry, go ahead.
I have no idea what I was going to say.
No, he was there every day. I mean, we worked for a year before, helping craft the script, and then doing the whole shooting, and then post-production, he would come in the cutting room. I mean, we went through it together, there's no question.
I have to ask, you said it's the most personal project that you've ever been a part of, and I think when people watch an hour-and-a-half movie, they can sort of feel the personal aspect from the filmmakers, or that it's a personal project. But as a filmmaker, as you said, it takes a year, it takes 2 years. There are certain objective things that you have to do as a filmmaker that completely remove the personal, and most of filmmaking can be that part of the job. How do you remain personally attached to the project? How do you maintain that sort of little personal spot in your brain when there are so many decisions and so many things you have to do on a day-to-day basis in a project like this that are not personal?
Well, I mean, you do have the craft of being a filmmaker, so you do. There are certain there's certain film grammar that you're going to use to tell a story, but I could never get away from the fact that it's personal, because we're doing it together. Every time I look over, that's my son, there's my boy, and so that never goes away, no matter, whatever craft I have, it's always there.
Wow. Nick, how involved were you with the casting and everything? I mean, this kid is amazing in the film. He's an incredible lead. I've never seen him.
People know Nick Robinson.
He was given good.
Yeah, he's a really good actor. I mean, he was in that Kings this summer, and he's in Jurassic World. He's a great actor, and Nick was there for all the casting. All of the auditions.
I was sitting there, but
yeah. But you always gave your opinion.
I was like, I saw that girl Morgan Saylor on Homeland, and I think during the season she like went to rehab or something, and I was just like, oh, she's a perfect rehab girl.
Yeah,
that was the only.
He pushed for Morgan Saylor like crazy. Yeah.
You had a personal connection to her right away?
No, but
just felt like you knew her.
Felt like I knew her from some land.
Yeah.
No.
And this kid is, I mean, he carries the movie in many ways. He's in every scene of the film, and he's fantastic. How do you know when you're casting someone that they're going to be able to do that? After this long, you've worked with some of the biggest actors of all time, but you're casting a relatively unknown kid to carry the weight of a movie like this. How did you know that he was up to the task?
Well, you start with having an idea of who the character is, and in this case, even though it's not Nick, it's certainly an extension of him in certain ways. I have that in the back of my head. I'm looking at an actor, and I want to see if he has the qualities, some of the qualities that I see in Nick in terms of his honesty and his depth and the way he plays things. And then, to be honest with you, he auditions, and in the case of Nick Robinson, he auditioned with the guy that plays his friend in the movie, Devin Bostic, who plays Adam. And they clicked immediately. It was like as if they had known each other for forever. And I said, ooh, that's what it needs to be. It needs to feel like that.
Right.
And another thing, other than casting, we all stayed at a hotel, the Hyatt House, at this, and we all hung out after every day. And that kid, when he first showed up, he had like a book about junkies. He had like watched some YouTube, and he started asking me questions about it. And I would try to fill him in as best as possible. But since the writing was done by us and Matt, he kind of got our sensibilities. So did Devin, from just hanging out with us, try to help him with that in that sense.
Yeah, absolutely. The father in this is a former Hollywood actor, now turned politician. So he's got one foot in Hollywood and one foot in politics. This seems like as this character, as Charlie was an extension of Nick, this seems like this character could be an extension of you, Rob, as you sort of.
Well, that was the idea. That was the idea that I wanted to portray a character that was somewhat like me. I mean, it's not exactly like me because. Hopefully, I'm not that big an asshole, but we wanted to have an antagonist, and we wanted to have there to be conflict between the father and son, and the fact that Carrie Elwes, who was in Princess Bride, did this part, I felt really good because I had kept in touch with him over the years and always looked for something to do with him, and I just felt comfortable that I could put the essence of me in his hands, and so that was a good thing, but. I do have a foot in politics, and I do, and I was an actor and all that. So we tried to make it as close to what we went through as possible. But it is a fiction. I mean, it is a fiction.
Well, I guess my question is, as a person who is a director and a producer, I mean, Castle Rock Entertainment, I don't know if people know, created Seinfeld, and it just in absolute classics of our generation. I was hoping you would do that. Did you find that? Did you find at a time when Nick needed you that you were also maybe really busy with a movie that you were working on? Because making movies, making TV shows does take a lot of work, be it on the set, reading the scripts, or just dealing with the business behind the scenes.
That's a better question to ask Nick, because I don't know if I was as available as I might have been. But that's something that you could answer. I mean.
What was the question? Sorry.
He wanted to know if being involved in show business and all that took me away from you to any degree that
No.
No. Well, that's good. That's good to hear.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
How would you say this film differs from the past dramatic works that you've done? I mean, I think this one is definitely much more dramatic than most of your work, except for maybe like A Few Good Men or a couple of.
Oh, there's a lot of humor in this, though, too. I mean, there's a lot of big laughs in it, and I always felt like if you're going to do anything even that remotely mirrors the life experience, it's going to be funny and it's going to be tragic. I mean, there's some very dark moments in the film, but there's some also really, really funny moments. So the only thing for me, and I always try to, even in Misery, there's laughs. You know, I always try to find ways of getting humor in it. The thing that's different for this is that it's closer to the bone than any of the other films I've done.
So is Misery closer to the bone?
Closer to the bone, but in a different way.
Yeah. You brought me there. I couldn't help.
I know.
As soon as you said there were laughs in Misery, the ankle immediately appeared in my mind.
The big laugh.
Yeah.
When she breaks his ankle, a laugh riot.
Is it not that you would ever want to not have comedy in any of your projects, but having grown up in the comedy world, is it difficult for you to not have comedy, to not sort of be obsessed with comedians and stand-up and joke-telling?
Well, I mean, it's in my blood. I mean, it's the way I view life. I mean, I'm not, the way my father is. I mean, he's more of a pure comedian. Nick was saying that the film that he likes best of the ones I did was Stand By Me. And, that makes me feel good because that film was the first film that really reflected my personality more than anything I've done. It has a moodiness and a melancholy to it, but it also has laughs and there's fun to it. So that's more my personality, and I always see funny things and also sad things. I try to blend the two if I can.
Nick, what about you? How often do you find yourself having the same sort of comic tenor as your father?
Well, I try to be funny whenever I can, but I don't really know. I don't know what that meant.
Well, when you're working on this script, did you feel like you had to sort of inject humor, or did you sort of find the humor organically?
No, there's so much funny stuff that happens in rehab, and a lot of funny people. Like, it's tragic and all, but the people that are there are not going to want you to throw them a pity party. They're going to want you to laugh at the situation and make light of it.
There's a great scene in it, in the movie when you see it, where the main character, Charlie, is gotten bathroom detail, and he's having to clean the bathroom, and he's with his friend there, and they're working, the two guys in rehab, and they're cleaning the bathroom, and there's a dialogue between the two of them that's hysterical, and it's actually a conversation that Nick had with somebody that he encountered in, and so they put it right in the script.
Yeah, the confusion in that scene is very real, and I sort of got a sense when I watched it, like, this is a real conversation.
Yeah.
I can tell that this conversation
This actually happened to Nick,
somewhere.
and he couldn't figure out what the heck. I mean, for those of you who haven't seen it, I don't want to give too much of it away, but it's about a guy who gets sexual favors and also scores dope. And
it's a who's on first with heroin and hookers.
And the other guy can't figure out, well, what is the guy who's giving you the favors? He's also giving you the dope. What is he getting out of this? And he couldn't figure it out, so it's pretty funny.
Rob, I have to ask, as we said that you're an actor and a director who's also had one foot in politics. After Indiana last night and cases this morning, how are you feeling coming to the end of this year's Republican primary and Democratic primary?
Well, it's probably the most bizarre political cycle I've ever experienced in my life. But I do believe that if America has any sense of anything, we will reject Donald Trump, and we will, because I was saying this today, I said this earlier today, that the only reason anybody pays any attention to this guy is because he's famous. Because if you took just a person, any person, and you had them say some of the things that he says all the time, ban Muslims, Latinos, they're all rapists, and throw 12 million of them out, the way he talks about women, the way he says, we'll bring back torture or give nuclear weapons to South Korea and Japan. I mean, everything he says, if it was not a famous person, it would be some crazy crackpot in a park standing on a soapbox that you would walk by. The end is near. Yeah, thanks. And you'd walk by. The mere fact that he's famous and the mere fact that the media is willing to, give him all the time because he brings ratings. We are living in a reality-based world right now, the Kardashianization of America and all that. Then you have a guy who they're going to make money, and that's what they do, and reporters are interested in getting access. So I urge reporters to do their due diligence, pin this guy down, make him, own the things he's saying. Can you imagine for just a second, there's a bunch of people from the KKK or white supremacist groups who are signing on to your campaign, and you don't say, I don't want these people part of my legions. I don't want them with me. These are hate mongers. These are racists. These are people who are the worst part of humanity. They're coming onto but no, he doesn't do that. He welcomes them with open arms. So we cannot have a person like this. It's very, very dangerous. And I'm curious to see, I believe we'll win. I believe, Hillary will beat him. But if she doesn't win in a landslide, and if she doesn't win in a way that shows where that narrow racist streak is in America, then I think it's a very sad day. Because we know that racism hasn't gone away. It's there. But this man has given voice to it. And so we're going to find very carefully how many people really have those feelings and really espouse those things. And because I'm telling you, if you're going with a guy like that, he's a xenophobic, he's a racist, and he's a misogynist, and he's a liar. And so we just hopefully have to defeat him in a big, big way.
Absolutely.